catchers are all the rage in the league, and some rookies are really making an impact. We'll talk about that and do some rookie fill in the blank right here on Locked On NFL Draft. Let's go.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in, everybody. Locked On NFL Draft coming at you. You got your power trio of draft expertise. Well, at least two people with expertise in me. I just think I know everything, so you just got to deal with that. My man, Eric Crocker, right there in the corner, former NFL, AFL defensive back. Follow him on Twitter at Eric_Crocker. Ryan Tracy from Rogue Analytics, NFL33.com, as well at Ryan Tracy NFL on Twitter. I'm Jay Harris Football on Twitter. John Harris, football analyst, sideline reporter for the Houston Texans, also owner-operator of draft website, footballtakeover.com. I appreciate all of your eyeballs coming to see my Harris 100, which will be up soon, which I know the guys will poke holes in, but it's definitely worth discussing. And they'll have their 100s later in the year we'll talk about. But guys, today it's talking about rookie wide receivers in the NFL. And there are four of them really that have stood out. And I think the big question is, what have they meant to their teams and what do they build in the future for their respective organizations? And we'll start with Sunday Night Football. It was a bad night for the Green Bay Packer defense. Really, really bad for the Packer defense. But a nice night for Jordan Love when he came in. But in particular, Christian Watson out of North Dakota State, the Tampa, Florida native, gets to NDSU somehow, catches a few passes from Trey Lance, goes to the Senior Bowl, shows it off. He ends up being picked, I think, number 34 overall. And he has been fantastic the last few games. Ryan Tracy, what has Christian Watson meant to the Packers? And what do you think the overall direction of the Packers and how does Watson sort of fit into it, you think?
He's been a ray of hope, to tell you the truth. He's been as good the last few weeks as Doves was when the season began. Again, giving hope to a group that needs it. We all know about Aaron Rodgers and his decline. I don't even want to talk about Love at this point because I think there's some fool's gold there. But what it does is give you a basis going forward for both those guys to be in the fold and have this tumultuous season under their belt. It gives you someplace you can start to move forward with your offense again coming this offseason. And I think right now it gives you a chance to like thumb your nose or stick your thumb in somebody's eye that's trying to make a playoff berth.
No doubt. Eric, what have you seen from Christian Watson of the Green Bay Packers?
I think they've done a great job of really utilizing his ability, which is, hey, get me out in space, throw the ball to me down the field. And we saw this start, I believe it was against the Dallas Cowboys, where he caught 3 touchdown passes. And then it's just continued every week where he's been way more productive. You watched him, Sunday evening against the Philadelphia Eagles. You see the splash plays. You see him outrun guys down the sideline. And I thought that they would be able to utilize that aspect of his game earlier in the season. I know, just covering the 49ers, that this can be an offense that is a little difficult to grasp for receivers, and then probably even more difficult when you're playing with Aaron Rodgers, who's an older guy, who's used to having Devontae Adams do things a very specific way, them be on the same page, and then have all these rookies and young guys that you're throwing in there and saying, all right, now you guys have to give me somewhat what we're getting from Devontae Adams. Probably not fair to those guys, but it's really cool to see Christian Watson really come on strong as the season goes on. Now, it might not matter because it looks like the Packers season is over, right? But for him, the season is just beginning, and you want to end on a strong note and kind of continue to build that momentum heading into 2023.
On a side note, yes or no, that's all you get. No reasoning, yes or no. Aaron Rodgers benched Jordan Love for the rest of the year. Ryan Tracy, yes or no?
Nope.
Eric Crocker, yes or no?
Yes.
Split. Here's another one. Yes or no? Jordan Love is the starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers in 2023. Yes or no, Eric Crocker?
Ooh, no.
Yes.
I want to be controversial, but I'll say no. Okay, so Ryan's going to be the controversial
Ryan
one.
says yes. Okay, well, that gets kind of interesting. So that leads to this question. Is Zach Wilson the starting quarterback in 2023? Don't answer that. We do know whoever that quarterback is going to be is throwing the ball to Garrett Wilson. And last year, wide receiver 1 was hard for me in some sense. I was pretty locked on Olave. I was kind of curious why everybody else thought, well, it's Garrett Wilson, it's this other guys. I think we're finding out that it was a lot closer than maybe we all anticipated or we all thought. That whoever you said was wide receiver one from a group of Drake London, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, you were all in kind of the ballpark in some sense. But Garrett Wilson with the New York Jets has given the Jets what they've been lacking. They drafted Elijah Moore. They brought in Corey Davis. But it really feels like they got to Garrett Wilson. It's like, that's the guy. In combination with the other two is great. But they needed to have their wide receiver one, and it feels like they have it. Now answer the question, Eric Crocker. Is Zach Wilson the quarterback starting 2023 for the Jets? And how much does Garrett Wilson impact that offense and will continue to impact that offense?
Yes, because roster politics is a real thing. And even if things don't go very well for Zach Wilson the remainder of this season and he ends up getting benched, they will still give him every opportunity to be the guy. And I think it'll start next year, but I don't think the leash will be nearly as long. And again, there's probably going to be somewhat of a quarterback controversy. So that's going to be something that to see as training camp starts for the New York Jets. But I'd say right now, if I had to bet my money on it, I'd say yes, but only because roster politics is real.
Right, Tracy, same question. Zach Wilson, the man in 2023 with a short leash. He's the face of the franchise. And how does Garrett Wilson fit into what the Jets want to do going forward as wide receiver one? And how impressive you've been with Garrett Wilson this year thus far?
Wilson was my wide receiver one, and he's lived up to it. It was about what you want for a fit, right? And I just like the skill set being varied. I like it not being one-dimensional. He can fit in and make himself kind of a chameleon based on what else that you have, and I think that's helped. I don't think Zach Wilson's taken advantage of it enough. But I agree with Eric Crocker. He will be given the week one start next week because they got to know. They can't guess. They can't think that this is all he can be. They got to give it a chance to work out. And if they keep going the way they're going, they're not going to have a top 15 pick to draft a replacement. So do you pick somebody, if they're, say, 20, do you pick somebody and think that they can come in and compete? Do you wait a round or two and get a maybe guy that you like his upside and let them compete in camp? That's kind of where I'm leaning. So I think Zach is the starter week one.
If there is a football god, the Jets will draft Spencer Rattler and put him next to Zach Wilson in training camp in 2023. Let that fun commence. And we'll have a lot of fun. We're going to talk about another couple of receivers that have made impacts for their particular teams. But I need to talk to you about how do you use the world's largest car sharing marketplace? Well, that's Turo, T-U-R-O, Turo. With Turo, you can book any car that you want, wherever you want it, from a community of local hosts. So it's a ride-sharing, car-sharing marketplace. You go to, Burlington, North Carolina, and you look up on Turo which hosts are in Burlington, North Carolina. And you call them up, you get it all set up. Hey, I want to use your Aston Martin over the weekend, or I want to use your Volkswagen for the week while I'm there in Burlington. Well, you can do all of that with Turo. You can test drive any car that's there. You can test drive the new electric vehicle if you're into that as well. Many Turo hosts can even deliver the car right to you. Every trip is backed by liability insurance. Terms, conditions, and exclusions do apply. Forget about boring rental cars. I'm telling you right now, the rental car business is so difficult. But at Turo.com, you've got great hosts that you could pick from, great vehicles to choose from as well. Turo, Turo, the world's largest car sharing marketplace. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today. For your second listen today, check out Locked On Sports Today. From the games that matter the most to the biggest stories in sports, go beyond the scoreboard and behind the scenes with local experts and insights only Locked On can provide. Locked On Sports Today, available on this app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcast. Now, a few weeks ago, I had the unfortunate pleasure of watching the Tennessee Titans absolutely drive us into the ground with Derrick Henry over and over and over and over again to the tune of 200 yards for the fourth time in the last 3 years. Oh, God. I really wish Treylon Burks would have played in that game because maybe they would have thrown the ball to Treylon Burks, who replaced A.J. Brown, who I always feared. So with no Treylon Burks, I thought, oh, great. This would be awesome. We stopped Derrick Henry. We're good. Well, we didn't stop Derrick Henry. And now teams are struggling with Treylon Burks. Eric, I don't know who the quarterback is going to be in Tennessee for a while. And so maybe it's a two-part question, too. A, is Ryan Tannehill the guy? B, is Malik Willis the guy? C, how much and how valuable is Treylon Burks to the Tennessee Titans at this point?
I think Treylon Burks, just to answer that question, is extremely valuable. All right. He's the guy who's coming on strong. And, I had him in the top 5 receivers of this class. And we knew there was going to be some type of adjustment, right? This is a guy who is a really good athlete, terrific run after catch that he really displayed a ton at University of Arkansas. He also was really legit with the contested catches, has big mitts where he did a really good job of the hand-eye coordination, attacking the ball at his highest point, coming down with the rock. Well, at the NFL level, you still have to have a little bit more and understanding how, angles, how to create that separation. Well, they've done a good job of scheming him open on some things, getting him on crossing routes, things like that, where he can use that run after catch ability. And this is an offense that's kind of predicated on a lot of play action over the middle throws. They're doing a lot of different things now with him to get him more involved. He missed, OTAs. He had some issues there. Then there's been some injuries to start the season, but as of late, you see him starting to come on, and that's what they're missing. Robert Woods isn't quite the Robert Woods that he was a few years ago pre-ACL injury. They're going to need Treylon Burks to really step up, and I think right now he's answering that task.
Ryan, same question to you. Tannehill, Willis, and definitely Treylon Burks, but how much can Burks impact the Titans? Can he be more than just a poor man's A.J. Brown and his replacement?
He's a life preserver right now with the potential to turn into like a life raft. You know what I mean? You got to pull that cord and see what he inflates to because he's just starting. He's just starting to get that feel, right? I think at this point, you know what you have in Tannehill. I don't think that you're going to get anything kind of resurgence-wise. I think he's already gone through a career resurgence, and this is the tail end of it. The question is, for me, just like it was during the draft season, is what can Willis become? And I think now's the time that you need to find that out with Burks. And I think the two of them may add up to more than what they are individually by creating that tandem and finding that chemistry and being something that Willis can then deliver the ball to and let Burks do his thing.
The New Orleans Saints ended up getting shut out. I think they missed Sean Payton. I don't think there's any question in that. And Dennis Allen is struggling. The offense is struggling. I can't tell you the last time the Saints got shut out, but Chris Olave has been maybe better than even a lot of us thought. I was very high on him as being wide receiver 1 for a number of different reasons. And that's all come to fruition. No matter who plays quarterback in New Orleans, I mean, they've got to find the right guy, whether it's Jameis, it's Dalton, whether they trade for somebody. I don't know. So, Eric, I'll ask you this. A, who do you think should throw the ball to Chris Olave 100 times in 2023 and beyond?
Whew. I am going to go with, I hope he gets C.J. Stroud.
Oh,
it's just the ability to throw the ball down the field. I think that's Stroud's biggest asset. Yeah, he can make all the other throws, but man, that ball placement on those vertically pushing routes, I feel like that's where he's the most comfortable. You've seen a guy like that in New Orleans with Jameis Winston, and he hasn't quite been, that guy, but just his, I'm going to push the ball. I'm going to push the envelope down the field and throw it, as opposed to, again, cover the 49ers. I get to watch Jimmy Garoppolo. You might see one shot every couple games, but with CJ Stroud, you'll see a lot more of that, and I think that really plays right into the skill set of Chris Olave.
Ryan, same question to you. What quarterback would accentuate Chris Olave's skills? And I'll give you this option, rookie or otherwise.
I will go otherwise because Eric named the guy that I was thinking might be a really nice fit in there to complement his skills with Olave's skills, and that is Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know what the Niners are going to do. He was on the block for, 17 years before they decided to keep him. So who knows what's going to happen. But I think that fit, that ability to get the ball out quick in short to intermediate areas and let Olave do his thing, I think that gives Jimmy like a power up as well. You could get both those guys going. Again, it is the tandem, the sum of their parts that I think could benefit there.
Excellent job, gentlemen. When we get back, it's time for Take Your Pick, fill in the blank style. Just hang on. You'll see exactly. We've not done this one. I think you'll like this one, but you'll definitely like Audible podcasts. Audible is releasing a slate of new football podcasts we're sure you're going to love. Find Block Forever now whenever you get your podcast. Block Forever is a brand new podcast from former NFL All-Pro center Ryan Khalil in Audible. Khalil takes the conversation about football to the next level. He gives football fans and insiders look at the game through the eyes of the greatest players and personalities of all time. For example, you'll hear Christian McCaffrey talk about his love-hate relationship with fantasy football. And Juju Smith-Schuster gives his most honest opinions on other players and positions in the league. You definitely don't want to miss when Juju talks, that's for sure. Ryan and his guests discuss topics like player psyche, sports betting, playing through pain, being a leader, and how to deal with combative teammates. Nothing is out of bounds. Available for free and Audible wherever you get your podcast. Catch the full Block Forever series available wherever you get your podcasts. Available everywhere now. Audible. Get in the game. All right, gentlemen. I always like to finish the show giving you guys an opportunity to be the GM, to take your pick. So I've come up with, and receivers have been our theme this evening, right? And the rookie receiver class, from Jake London to Chris Olave to Garrett Wilson to Treylon Burks. I don't know who I forgot. Jahan Dotson from Washington. Christian Watson from Green Bay was taken top of the second round. So here we go. Take your pick. You're Nick Caserio, GM of the Houston Texans. And with the first overall pick in the draft, you draft Bryce Young of Alabama. And you add him to Nico Collins, John Mechie III, and you get to steal one current rookie wide receiver for the roster. Take your pick, Ryan Tracy. Which guy would you add to Bryce, Nico, and Mechie?
Mechie underneath. You could see him getting back to what Bryce saw at Alabama. You need that other guy. You need that guy to stretch. For me, there's a couple of options here, but I think in the end, the guy that is crafty, that he could deliver the ball to and can still stretch the field is Olave, and I would make Saints fans angry, but he's who I'd steal.
All right. Eric Crocker, you get to steal one current rookie wide receiver to add to Nico and Mechie with Bryce Young throwing the rock. Who would you take? Take your pick.
Yeah, I'll go with Garrett Wilson, Olave's former teammate, man. And his ability to create separation and again, the body control, going up for passes, that's always been there. He's explosive in and out of breaks. I think he's somebody that would fit perfectly with Bryce Young. So yeah, I'm gonna go with him.
I like both of those actually. Okay, Eric Crocker. This will be kind of strange, but go with me. You're Bill Belichick, GM, head coach of the New England Patriots, and your quarterback is Mac Jones. He's throwing to Jacoby Myers, a couple of really athletic tight ends. You get to steal one current rookie wide receiver for the Patriots to go along with those tight ends and Jacoby Myers and Devontae Parker. Take your pick. Who does Bill Belichick take for the Patriots?
Jameson Williams. And I know he hasn't been on the field this year, right? But you kind of look at it as a red shirt year for him. But Mac Jones is missing that like legit deep threat guy. They did draft Tyquan Thornton, and we'll see how he develops. But when it comes to Jameson Williams, you don't have to worry about those things. He is a start and stop monster. He is explosive, average breaks. He tracks the ball in extremely well. The run after catch is amazing. He'd be a do-it-all receiver for them. And we saw Mac Jones with some of those big-time receivers over the year and some change that he started. You know, he threw the ball to Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, Jalen Waddle, you know, and all these other, like, it was legit, and it was legit connection. So I like to see him with Jameson Williams, and I'm pretty I forgot to mention Devontae Smith. All right, so we saw that connection and what those things look like. I think he'd be really good for them.
Ryan Tracy, you're Bill Belichick. Who do you take your pick of a current rookie wide receiver to add to the New England Patriots roster?
I think what we've seen from Mac Jones this year has been troublesome in the delivery, in the size of the windows that he's able to throw into. I need a guy that will go take that ball from any defender that happens to be in the vicinity. I need a guy that I can just put it up to and he's going to do his job. I have to go take Drake London and put those two together to match Mac Jones's skill set and some of his deficiencies. I think that's a great pairing.
All right, Ryan Tracy, we'll go to you for this one. You are Aaron Rodgers, the general manager of the Green Bay Packers. Romeo Doubs, banged up. Sammy Watkins, dead. Al Lazard, okay. Christian Watson, already a rookie, but proving his worth. As Aaron Rodgers, the GM of the Packers, what rookie wide receiver would you like to steal? Take your pick.
who can survive the experience that Aaron Rodgers is? That's the big question. I think it has to be somebody that has the shoulders that can land on it, can absorb the offense and do all that. I think if it's up to me and maybe up to Aaron, he's going after Garrett Wilson, the guy that has stood out and proven that he can adapt. And I think that's where he goes.
Eric Crocker, you're Aaron Rodgers, GM of the Green Bay Packers. Which rookie do you pick to add to Christian Watson and Allen Lazard?
Alec Pierce. I always thought that was a great fit. I wanted to see Alec Pierce with the Green Bay Packers. I think he's got to play outside slot, and I think it'd be a seamless transition. And kind of that guy that kind of poor man's Jordy Nelson. I think that'll work very well for Aaron Rodgers. So I always wanted to see that connection. I'm going to stick with that.
All right. Eric Crocker, you are Ryan Poles, GM of the Chicago Bears. Justin Fields is banged up. Don't know if we'll see him again this year, but he showed a lot in the last probably 5 to 7 weeks, a lot more than I saw in week 3. Darnell Mooney's now hurt. He's out for the year, but it's not as if the Bears had anybody else. Take your pick, a current rookie wide receiver to give to Justin Fields, whether it's the end of this year or the beginning of next.
Drake London. Give me that big body guy I could throw to, the guy that's open even when he's not open. We're seeing Drake London and what it looks like at the top of routes. I think that's been really good. He's been a playmaker for Marcus Mariota. I think he'd be terrific. For Justin Fields. Now, we've seen something kind of similar. Chase Claypool, probably a faster version, right? But I think just as a pure skilled receiver, I still lean towards Drake London.
Ryan Tracy, what say you, if you're Ryan Poles, what current rookie wide receiver do you like to steal for Justin Fields going forward?
I'd go rip away Jahan Dotson, to tell you the truth. I want somebody that can run hot and help Fields out, get yards after the catch, and be slippery. And I like what Dotson brought. I know it hasn't been, the yardage filled season, but I think that'd be an interesting fit.
Ryan, you are head coach and general manager. Well, you're not general manager, but you make the decisions out in L.A. You are Sean McVay. All your receivers are dead right now. All of them. A-Rob out. Cooper Kupp out. OBJ is asleep on a plane, allegedly. And you still got Matt Stafford, but then you don't have Matt Stafford. So this is more about maybe the rest of the season in the future. If A-Rob comes back healthy, if Cooper Kupp comes back healthy, and you can steal a current wide receiver, a rookie wide receiver, and add to the Rams mix, because we know they don't have picks. So I'm giving you the opportunity to steal. Ryan Tracy, who are you taking?
It's Christian Watson, especially if it's Stafford and I got an arm that can get it to him. But I will give Perkins some credit. He moves around really nicely. I think the scramble drill is going to be there. And if you can get Watson the ball, he gives you that element that you don't get from any of those receivers, even when they are healthy.
I'm sorry, Bryce Perkins. I overlooked you. My bad. Eric Crocker, who are you taking for the Rams? Who does Sean McVay want from the rookie wide receiver class?
Yeah, I like the Christian Watson pick. Allen Robinson was supposed to be that guy, but he's kind of a shell of himself at this point in his career. So those days are almost over for him. But you inject somebody like Christian Watson into that lineup, I think he complements what Cooper Kupp does extremely well. So, again, then now you have a quarterback he can really spin it. So, yeah, I'd like to see, in theory.
Yeah,
Stafford
in theory, you'd like to see it. You don't want to see it for the 49ers. You're just happy that all the receivers are dead. There's no doubt about that. All right, last one. Eric Crocker, you are Andrew Berry, the GM of the Cleveland Browns. You have just given Deshaun Watson $230 million, and we will see him on Sunday, finally, unfortunately. Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones, a couple of very good tight ends. But you get to steal a rookie wide receiver to add to your mix. Take your pick.
Calvin Austin, right? We're going to throw him off a little bit and throw in somebody that's just different than those guys. Inject Calvin Austin into that lineup right now. Not getting to run with Pittsburgh Steelers. Haven't checked in on him. Not sure if he's hurt, banged up, what's going on. But it would be nice to see him get some opportunities and kind of be that jitterbug, that change of pace type receiver for them.
Ryan Tracy, who do you want to add DPJ and Amari Cooper for number 4, Deshaun Watson?
I love the concept of Cooper as a mentor, so I'm going to go pluck George Pickens and put him on this roster and see what's going to come from that. That might hurt some folks, especially down in Houston.
Yeah, I don't even want to see Cooper and DPJ this weekend. Now you're throwing George Pickens in the mix. That could get kind of crazy. Gentlemen, wonderful, wonderful job. But a big thanks to you listeners out there. We appreciate you guys so much, and we thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen. For your second listen, check out Locked On Sports Today podcast, the biggest stories of the day, plus instant reactions, big game recaps, and the take of the day. Available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get podcasts. For Eric and Ryan, I'm John. We'll keep it locked right here on Locked On NFL Draft. We'll see you next time. And as always, let's go.